Have you ever wondered how everything began? The book of Genesis in the Bible tells us all about it. In Genesis we meet amazing people like Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham and Joseph. Each story shows us God's power, wisdom and love. Genesis starts with creation. God spoke and light exploded into being. Day by day, God created the sky, land, sea, sun, moon, stars, plants, and animals. He had one more amazing creation in mind: humans. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Let there be light!
A brilliant light flooded the emptiness, separating day from night. On the second day, God created the sky. On the third day, he gathered the waters, revealing dry ground and sprouting plants. The world was coming alive with God's creativity. On the fourth day, God created the sun. On the fourth day, God created the moon. On the fourth day, God created the stars. On the fifth day, he created sea creatures. On the fifth day, he created birds. On the sixth day, he created land animals. On the sixth day, he created humans, his most special creation. The Garden of Eden was a beautiful paradise where Adam and Eve lived in harmony with God. God gave them free will and one rule: not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Disobeying this rule would have serious consequences. A cunning serpent tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit.
"You won't die," the serpent assured her.
Eve and Adam ate the fruit, leading to their disobedience. Adam and Eve felt shame and hid from God.
Because you have done this, pain and suffering will enter the world.
God promised a savior to make things right again. The world was filled with wickedness, but Noah remained faithful to God.
I will send a flood to cleanse the earth.
Noah trusted God and prepared for the flood. God gave Noah instructions to build an ark. Noah and his sons worked tirelessly despite being mocked. They warned others, but no one listened. The ark was finished and animals arrived 2 by 2.
The rain fell for 40 days and nights.
The ark was the only thing left afloat. After the flood, the ark rested on Mount Ararat. Noah sent out a dove which returned with an olive branch. God promised never to flood the earth again, setting a rainbow as a sign. As the years passed, Noah's family grew and multiplied. They spread out across the earth, forming new tribes and nations. They began to think they could do things their own way, without God's help.
One day they came to a plain in the land of Shinar. Let's make bricks and build ourselves a city, and let's build a tower that reaches all the way to heaven. This will make us famous and keep us together. We won't be scattered over the face of the whole earth. They wanted to make a name for themselves and create a civilization that would rival God's power.
So they set to work, baking bricks and mixing mortar. Higher and higher they built their tower, their pride growing with each passing day. They thought they were unstoppable, that they could achieve anything they set their minds to. They had forgotten that true strength and security come from God, not from human achievements.
God saw what they were doing and knew their hearts were filled with pride and arrogance. He knew that their tower, built on self-reliance and ambition, would only lead them further away from him. He knew he had to intervene.
Up until that point, everyone on earth had spoken the same language. They could understand each other perfectly. But God had a different plan.
He confused their language so they could no longer understand each other.
Confusion and chaos spread throughout the construction site. The once unified workforce was now divided. They abandoned their project and scattered across the earth. God's plan had been fulfilled. Have you ever felt like God was calling you to do something special? Maybe he nudged you to be kinder to someone, to help those in need, or to use your talents in a new way. Long ago, God called Abram to leave his home and follow him on an amazing adventure. God had a special plan for Abram, a plan that would change history. Abram lived in Ur, a bustling city filled with temples and idols. People in Ur worshipped many gods, but Abram was different. He believed in the one true God, the Creator.
One day, God spoke to Abram, "Leave your country and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you."
Wow, what a promise. God wasn't just asking Abram to move down the street. He was asking him to leave everything familiar and journey to a distant land that he would show him. But God wasn't sending Abram on this journey alone. He promised to bless him, protect him, and make him into a great nation. Abram trusted God completely. So he gathered his wife, Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all their possessions, and they set out for the land God had promised. It was a long and difficult journey, filled with challenges and uncertainties.
God guided Abram and his people every step of the way. Finally, they reached the land God had promised, a land called Canaan. It was a land flowing with milk and honey. Abram knew this was the place where God wanted him to be.
God promised Abram a great nation, but Abram and Sarai were old and childless. How could God fulfill his promise?
"Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield."
Abram was troubled.
Sovereign Lord, I remain childless.
Then the word of the Lord came.
"This man will not be your heir. Look at the stars, so shall your offspring be."
Abram believed the Lord. His faith was credited as righteousness. Let's travel back in time to the land of Canaan, where a shepherd named Jacob lived with his 12 sons. Jacob loved all his sons, but he had a special fondness for his youngest, Joseph. To show his love, Jacob gave Joseph a magnificent coat of many colors. Joseph's brothers were not happy about this special treatment. One night, Joseph had a series of vivid dreams. Excitedly, Joseph shared his dreams with his brothers, unaware of the storm brewing within their hearts.
Do you really think you will rule over us? Do you think we will bow down to you? One day, Jacob sent me to check on my brothers, who were tending their flocks in a distant pasture.
As Joseph approached, his brothers spotted his colorful coat from afar.
Look, here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him and throw him into a well. We'll tell our father a wild animal devoured him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams.
Reuben, the eldest brother, was horrified by his brother's cruelty. He still loved Joseph, despite his envy.
No, don't kill him. Let's just throw him into this empty well. That way he'll be out of our way, but we won't have his blood on our hands.
Reuben secretly planned to return later and rescue Joseph. Joseph, unsuspecting, approached his brothers, eager to share news from home. But his brothers seized him, ripping off his beautiful coat and tossing him into the deep, dark well. They sat down to eat, their hearts hardened to Joseph's cries for help.
Why kill our brother and conceal his blood? Let's sell him to these traders. That way we'll make some money, and we won't have to shed his blood ourselves.
Joseph's brothers sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. The traders took Joseph to Egypt. Jacob mourned deeply for his son. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an Egyptian official. Despite hardships, Joseph remained faithful to God. He was put in charge of Potiphar's household. Falsely accused, Joseph was imprisoned. Even in prison, God was with him. Joseph's faith never wavered. Wow, what an incredible journey we've taken through the book of Genesis. We've seen God's awesome power as He created the world out of nothing. We've witnessed His heart of love as He provided for Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. We've felt the weight of sin as we saw its consequences unfold, bringing pain, suffering, and separation from God. But through it all, we've seen God's faithfulness, His unwavering love for humanity, and His desire to make things right. From the creation of the world to the stories of Noah, Abraham, and Joseph, we see a common thread running through Genesis. God's amazing plan for humanity. It's a plan that began in a garden, was tested by disobedience, survived a devastating flood, and was carried forward by a chosen people. Even when things seemed hopeless, when the world was consumed by wickedness, when a tower of human pride reached for the heavens, when jealousy and betrayal tore a family apart, God's plan never faltered. He remained faithful to His promises, working through both triumph and tragedy to bring about His purposes. The book of Genesis is the foundation of our faith. It shows God's love and plan for our lives. We face challenges and make mistakes. We experience joy and sorrow. We wrestle with doubts. But God is with us, just as He was with Adam and Eve. Genesis reminds us that God keeps His promises. He can use our darkest moments for good. He brings beauty from ashes. God has a purpose for each of our lives. Let's trust in Him and live as a testament to His love. The story of Genesis continues to unfold in our lives today. It's a story that invites us to be part of God's narrative. Remember, the God who spoke the world into being is with you always. Live each day with courage, knowing you are part of God's amazing story.